Teams are communicating matters. My team, we use headsets so that anything that's changing, adjusting, we can hear in real time what's happening. I've also used Voxer during the pandemic where we had the walkie-talkies and we were able to communicate real time and very quickly. Some people could use WhatsApp, Slack, anything that can make sure that it's fast, clear, and intentional. Not everything needs to be said to everyone, only what's relevant to whose ever role that's in play, because alignment extends beyond your team. It includes your audience. I want you to think about your next event. What are the gaps right now? Is it communication? Is it preparation? Is it unclear roles? Because most breakdowns don't come from one big failure. They come from small misalignments stacking up. Welcome to Speakers and Stages, the series that goes beyond the mic and behind the scenes of powerful events. I'm your host, Lena Castle, event strategist and speaker experience expert. Yes, we're going to sit down and talk with event industry experts from backstage chaos to center stage clarity. This is where the strategy meets the spotlight. Let's get into it. I can tell you that the best speakers cannot fix a misaligned event. And what actually causes events to break down are like the things happening behind the scenes: miscommunication, late content, unclear expectations, and teams that are just not on the same page. I've seen it all, honestly. And here's the part that people really just don't realize. Some of these breakdowns are quietly impacting your brand in ways that you never hear about. So in this episode, I'm taking you behind the scenes of what's really going on and how to fix it using two frameworks: align and care. Because when your team is aligned, you can actually care for the experience at the highest level, because that should be the goal. My name is Lena Castle, founder of the Professional Speakers Concierge Service and host of Speakers and Stages. I've worked at the intersection of speakers, event hosts, meeting planners, and AV production teams for over 10 years now. And I keep seeing the same patterns, to be honest. So let's just start here. How do we make sure that everyone defines success in the same way? One of the biggest breakdowns that I see is the vision stays at the top, but it doesn't really properly cascade down to who it needs to get to. Is this event about revenue? Is it about transformation, engagement, retention, education? Because your AV team needs to know what moments matter. Your speakers need to know why they were chosen. Your photographer needs to know the shot list. What moments must be captured? What is the feel that you're trying to communicate? Your MC needs to know how to carry the room. And this is where align begins. Not vaguely, not, I think so, specifically, intentionally. Okay, so every single person knows what the win looks like. It doesn't matter if they are a volunteer, if they are the event planner, the event host. Everyone should be clear on what a win looks like, especially specific to their actual role. Let me tell you, I have supported an event where a speaker submitted their slides a day before the event experience. And at first glance, you might think, that's fine. They got it in. Oh my gosh. But what do you think actually happened? Getting content late. Like what happens there? The AV team didn't have time to test the format of it, because AV has to test how's it going to look on these particular screens? How is everything making its way through the actual master slide deck? And it wasn't integrated into the tech run. So what I like to do is have a formal run of show. I want to run the event as if it's happening that day. You don't want your AV production team and everyone involved to kind of walk through this whole event experience for the first time on event day. Like, you want to know what's happening and when. And so when those tech runs happen, you're able to catch any of the issues and problems from a technical standpoint, from an event flow standpoint. So there might be adjustments in strategy of where you're placing your speakers, for example. So you do want to make sure that you're strategically thinking about not just these individual components, but how it all comes together as one whole story. And everything doesn't become reactive. It's just more integrated and it's more intentional because you have prepared for it. You have anticipated it. Listen, when things aren't done properly, when things are not in alignment, it creates stress, it disrupts the flow, and it's frustrating for the teams that are really trying to do their best to make sure that they are creating this win. Here's what most speakers don't see that gets talked about in the debrief segment. So in the debrief, it's the tech team, it's the AV, all of those techie people, even if there's a hybrid experience, those who were operating the virtual experience, the event host, if it's to do with the hotel, their whole staff, everybody that had a hand in the event, if there's a leader of the volunteer team, all of the leaders in the debrief are talking about what happened. And so your name as the speaker or whatever part that you're involved in as the MC, as a panelist, your name's coming up. And you, the speaker, are touching different people when you're handing in your content late, when you are late to your arrival time, all those different components, all of that is connected to your brand. So while you may feel prepared, behind the scenes, it can impact how your brand is perceived overall. Which brings me to the next question. What does preparation actually look like? Like, no, I know my content. I know it. I know it backwards and forwards. I know my slides. I know what I'm going to say, all of those things. Preparation is not last minute creation. It's having your assets ready, your signature, whatever your signature talk is, it's already outlined, even if you're just making small tweaks. Your outcome is clear. So you're refining it, not scrambling every time you get a speaking opportunity. I've worked with a client who clearly outlines for every speaker her expectation. And I love this about her because it really helps me during the kickoff calls for the speakers to be able to communicate to the speakers, you've been selected. This is the reason. Based on your expertise, this is what the client would like to see from you based on the whole totality of what this event is all about. And that level of communication is very helpful for the speaker, how they are crafting and tweaking their content based on their experience. This particular client even says this is what the segment is called. The speaker doesn't say, hey, this is my signature talk title and these are what everybody's going to learn. I like this format where the person or organization who's hosting it is driving that conversation. This is what we need from you. So everything else is cohesive. So how your talk fits into the bigger picture helps make a difference in how you're preparing. I like to use the acronym. It's a framework of mine. It's called ALIGN, ALIGN. Okay. And this helps to lay out timelines, integrate teams, because even great preparation fails without coordination. Who needs what by when so your AV team can shine? When I think about the AV production team, what is it that they need and by when is so critical. So when content is late, it affects everything. It affects tech rehearsal dates that probably are already scheduled, visual quality, timing, transitions. Your AV team goes from executing excellence to managing chaos. Deadlines are clear, expectations are reinforced early, buffer time is built in. If you're listening to the acronym ALIGN, you should kind of get a sense of, okay, where we're going with this, because the whole purpose is alignment. Alignment. I've seen speakers walk on stage and not know who the sponsors are, what to promote, the hashtag for the day, what the call to action is. If it's, hey, we're trying to increase membership by 10%, so you're mentioning it in your talk, you're weaving it in. It doesn't seem like, oh, it's just placed at the end because, oh, now I remember. And I've seen speakers go on stage and not know like how to use the clicker. And that goes back into preparation, making sure that they understand the tools and resources that they have available to them. And also, there's logistics types of mics that specific speakers have preferences for. So a lavalier mic, or if it's a handheld, or if it needs to be on the podium so that they don't move around and it's already, it's static. All of these smaller details per each segment, per each speaker, per each experience is critical to know ahead of time, not because they aren't great speakers, but because you want to make sure that the full event is integrated with all of what could go wrong. Sometimes that's on the planner. Sometimes it's not. We also may assume that speakers just know they are the experts. They're just going to come in and do their thing. But clarity is what creates excellence. Now let's talk about success. How do we define a win everyone can really rally around? Because a win is not it went well. A win is how did people feel? And not just assuming because you saw smiles, but you are actually measuring that if it's through a survey, but then also what are they saying during the breaks? Who's going to be your eyes and ears during those breaks? How are they having conversations? What energy is in the room? What are they seeing, hearing, and experiencing in real time? Someone should be tracking. Are we on schedule? Do we need to adjust? Is the energy where it needs to be? And the final piece of the acronym ALIGN is navigate issues. Because something will happen, guaranteed, absolutely. Every single time that there is an event, there is going to be issues, there's going to be fires, but how to navigate issues is going to be really critical because something will happen. And this is why CARE comes in, the acronym CARE, CARE. Communicate, act, review, engage. But this only works if roles are clearly defined. Here's a structure that I recommend. You do need a problem solver. I don't have like the actual title of these individuals, but this is what I need every single time that there is an event experience. If you wanted to make sure it's going to be everything that you hoped for, you need a problem solver, someone whose only primary job is to scan and anticipate issues. That's it. They're just walking around anticipating issues, solving issues, resolving them, and not needing to escalate because they are able to make decisions. They're empowered to do that. You do need an AV liaison, someone deeply connected to the run of show, which is including all the timings for the production team and what's happening when speakers are supposed to arrive, when do they need to get mic'd, and all of that. But you need someone that is deeply connected and understanding the entire flow of the event experience. So that person may not be an AV production person or a part of that company or organization, but you do need someone that is going to be there with them the entire time. You also need a communication lead. When things happen, they know about it. They're communicating about it. They're making sure that anyone involved that needs to know has the information. Hey, the breakout room has changed. Everybody's aware. The app is updated. The signs within the hotel is updated. Everything is updated, right? And then you need someone that is supporting your speakers. You do need someone that is protecting the focus of the speaker and what they're experiencing. And I'm always talking about the five senses for an audience, speaker, everyone. What are they seeing, touching, tasting, smelling, hearing? For speakers, they should be able to smell something good in that room before they get on stage in their green room. They should be tasting something that isn't too heavy on their palate. They should be able to have access to water so that they're hydrated. They're speaker gifts and it's being presented to them, or it's a room drop and it's a delight surprise. There's so many things that you're incorporating, but you need someone that's solely just focused on how is the speaker experiencing this entire event? Do they feel expected? Do they feel like that the person supporting them knows a little bit about them, their allergies, and what's important to them? Because a speaker's flight could be delayed and things could shift last minute. We had a speaker recently, flight was overbooked and they weren't sure if they were going to be able to get onto the flight, and they were the opening speaker on day one the following day. So, how do you shuffle around the event experience? There should be things or ideas that you may have as buffers that in case something goes wrong, we can insert this. It's an extra layer of preparation, but it helps because speakers should not be solving logistics. They should be preparing to deliver and being in their zone of genius. And how you communicate it prior matters. Even throughout the day, how the teams are communicating also matters. My specific team, we use headsets so that anything that's changing, adjusting, any of that, we can hear in real time what's happening. I've also used Voxer during the pandemic where we had the walkie-talkies and we were able to communicate real time and very quickly. Some people could use WhatsApp, Slack, but anything that can make sure that it's fast, clear, and intentional. Not everything needs to be said to everyone, only what's relevant to whose ever role that's in play, right? And if you're running a hybrid event, ask yourself, does your virtual audience feel included? Are they acknowledged? Can they engage in real time? Because alignment extends beyond your team, it includes your audience. I want you to think about your next event. Like, what are the gaps right now? Because most breakdowns don't come from one big failure. They come from small misalignments stacking up. And if you're seeing that, you're not alone, but you do need a better system. And that is exactly why Align and Care exist. So as you move forward, ask yourself, are we aligned on goals? Are our timelines clear? Are our teams integrated? Do we know how to navigate challenges? And when something goes wrong, do we have a plan to care in real time? Because things will go wrong. And the difference between a stressful event and a seamless one, it's not perfection, it's preparation, alignment, and real leadership. And if you have an event coming up and you're realizing that there are gaps and you just want to make sure that this runs at the highest level, this is exactly the work that I do. You can book time with me and we can walk through your specific event, your team, your run of show, and identify exactly where things can break and how to fix them before they do. Because when alignment meets expectation, that's when events become experiences people never forget. Again, make sure that you are in alignment. I just can't stress that enough. You want to make sure that you are thinking through how you're going to agree on your goals, lay out the timelines, integrate teams, get content early, and navigate issues. That is the acronym for ALIGN. Agree on the goals. Make space for those who may not agree on certain goals and why. Not the negative Nancy's that will always have something to say, but everyone needs to make sure that they are in agreement on the goals. You also need to make sure that the timelines are laid out. So when you first know the date of your event, reverse engineering all the way back. When does content need to be due? When does the run of show need to happen? When does the debrief need to happen? And all of that is already laid out as a foundation. And it's not that you're being reactive. And you need to integrate your teams, even if it's the volunteers, they need to know the layout of the venue, what their sole responsibilities are, and what is a win. And every team may have different types of wins, but all of those wins roll right up under the main win of that event host. It helps your brand, making sure that you are getting what you need and asking questions upfront early if something doesn't look right, feel right, or is not being presented properly on or at the level that you need it to be. And then navigating issues. That's my whole world is navigating fires and issues. And if you would like to jump on a call and navigate this with someone, I am here for you. Make sure to join our email list if you are not on it so that you can get updates on when episodes like this drop. You guys take care. Have a wonderful rest of your week and meet you back here very soon.